Alright you guys, so in this video I'm going to be sharing with you and breaking down for you in detail why you are not losing your belly fat. I low-key may trigger some people to really do some self-reflecting because ultimately, by the time I'm done breaking down this video, I'm pretty sure one or two of these key things may be what's holding you back from losing your belly fat. And I just want to share these non-negotiable tips with you guys that you guys need to be tracking and implementing for you guys struggling to lose your belly fat to see that belly fat start to visibly go away. And I'll be honest with you, for me personally, some of these things that I'm going to mention throughout this video is what held me back personally when I was first trying to lose my weight. Because for me, growing up, I was always really big and fat. Highest I've ever recorded myself weighing was around over 300 pounds. Like I think it was like 305 pounds, which is like 2-3 years ago when I weighed around that weight. And since then, my overall journey has been up and down, up and down. Lots of peaks and valleys, a lot of plateaus throughout my journey. But if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I wouldn't really consider them plateaus in my overall fitness journey. These were just things that I realized that I shouldn't be doing, but I was doing it throughout my fitness journey. And that's what kept me stagnant. And it's overall what kept me from losing my belly fat. So I know this video is definitely going to resonate with some people right now who are struggling to lose their belly fat, because trust me, I was there at one point. It took me over like I would say 6 months consistently to really get to the point where I'm at today. So I want to just share with you guys some important key tips and tricks that you guys need to be locking down and be completely locked in on for you guys to actually see your gut go down. Because I know a lot of people want to lose their belly fat, including me, especially early on in my journey. And I want to just share with you guys some key tips and tricks that you guys need to be implementing consistently to really see your belly fat go down. Now, the first thing I noticed that a lot of people aren't doing is really tracking their food. I know that at this point that may be like something that just turns people off, but ultimately, guys, for you guys to really see your belly fat go down, you need to be able to track your food at least, I would say, 5 days out of the week. Honestly though, it should be 7 out of 7 days a week. But I know starting out that may be like, too much of a task for people starting out. But I would recommend you guys to make sure you're tracking your food and making sure you're not like overestimating or underestimating your foods. And what I also realized is that a lot of people like to go out and eat and use that as like, an excuse for not to track their food, or that they can't really track their food. The best remedy to do that is to just minimize the amount of times you go out per week. And yeah, I know some people say, hey, I go to Chipotle or I go to Panda Express and get like the grilled chicken or whatever it is. That was me. Because when I first started my fitness journey and I didn't want to cook my foods at home, I would go to Panda Express, get something healthy, or go to Chipotle, get a healthy bowl, but not realizing that all those calories definitely do add up. And MyFitnessPal isn't going to 100% accurately know what extra grease or what extra oil they use to make that chicken if you're going to Chipotle specifically. So I know for me, the ultimate way for me to really understand and really know what was going in my body is to literally track the foods myself. So I know a lot of people don't want to be able to cook, so you can buy a lot of frozen food. If you're not good at cooking and you don't want to waste time cooking, you can literally just buy everything frozen at the grocery store and use that as your meal prep instead of like spending hours in the kitchen cooking. Because that's honestly what I do. Because I know for me, I struggled. I mean, at this point, I like cooking, nothing crazy, but I still like to cook my meals every day. But I know a lot of people don't like to cook their own food, or they either don't have the time or don't have the energy, or just, I'm just being honest, just lazy in general. But ultimately, you really want to know what you're tracking on a day-to-day basis. So I recommend a lot of people to just try to cut out eating out completely. Or I don't even want to say cut out eating out completely. Just try to minimize it to once or twice a week. If you really can't help it, or like you have a special event going on, I'd only recommend you guys eating once or twice a week outside. But ultimately, it just comes down to making sure you're tracking your foods and you're weighing your foods out. That's ultimately the number one key thing that I've noticed that a lot of people aren't doing correctly, is accurately tracking their foods. Because they go out to eat a lot and they can't really track those foods when they're eating out a lot, so they tend to underestimate what they're tracking. If they were to even track their foods when they're eating out at a certain restaurant, they tend to underestimate or like undervalue the calories that they're actually intaking in that one restaurant eating meal. Or they'll want to go to Chipotle or just go to some fast food chain that has a healthy option and want to use that as like their meals, as like the tracking meals. But again, MyFitnessPal, all these tracking apps can't 100% be accurate as far as like what you're getting when you're going out to eat. I would honestly say MyFitnessPal is like 75 to 80% accurate when it comes to tracking, like, fast foods, which I guess is okay. But like, if you're doing that consistently, you're not going to 100% know what's being used as calories for your body. So that ultimately is going to deter you from losing that belly fat, because you could be eating in a surplus or just eating at maintenance and just maintaining the actual weight you currently have. So it's really important, guys, for you guys to meal prep at least the majority of your foods throughout the week. And like I said, if a lot of you don't want to cook day to day, which I don't cook day to day, I like to just bulk cook my meals on a Saturday or Sunday, or like on a day when I'm not working out. I like to bulk cook my foods for the entire week, 7 days. That day the day I'm not working out. And that usually just takes care of that for me as far as like, throughout the week and prepping my meals. I already have it to go. So I feel like a lot of people just need to have food in their fridge so they don't even get tempted to go out to eat. So just having food in the fridge for you guys for in a week for a week can definitely help negate that urge to want to go out and eat. And now my second point, which is also piggybacking off my first point as far as calories, is that some people don't know what their actual TDEE is. So if you guys don't know what that is, all that basically means is that your overall energy that your body currently exerts for you to maintain that current weight. So basically, in a nutshell, your TDEE is just like your overall calories in your body to maintain your current weight. So let's say you're a 300-pound guy at like 6 foot tall. Your TDE and let's say you don't do anything throughout the day. Let's say you're just sit home all day, play video games. Your overall TDEE may be like, I would say, I'm just gonna throw a number out here. Let's say it's like 2,800 calories. So that means for you to maintain your current weight at what you're currently sitting at, all you would need to do is eat that 2,800 calories and on a day-to-day basis, and you would maintain that exact weight that you're currently sitting at. But if you wanted to lose that weight, and like say you wanted to slim down and lose that body fat while still sitting down at home playing video games, you would need to drop those calories from 2,800 to like maybe 22 to 2,300 calories. That's about like a 300 to 500 calorie deficit that you would need to be in to really assure you that you're losing weight, even if you're sitting home and doing nothing all day. And ultimately, your TDEE may change based on your activity level, but for most people, I would say who are mildly active, their TDEE may be a little bit higher if it's a 300-pound guy who's a little bit more active than sitting home all day. But just overall, a lot of people don't know how many calories that the current body needs to maintain that current weight and what calorie deficit they need to be in to really lose the body fat and lose weight. So ultimately, when you're calculating your overall calorie intake and your goals for cutting especially, it's really important to really know your actual height and your weight and your overall activity level. For most people who work a job, let's say a desk job, if they were to calculate that their activity level, I would put that at like moderately active. So people who don't go to the gym, who just literally just work all day, ultimately going to the gym will change things a lot. So just making sure that you're really calculating your overall TDEE is correct, so you know what deficit you need to be in. I feel like a lot of people aren't really sure as far as like what their overall deficit should be in on a day-to-day basis, because once you've calculated what calorie deficit you need to be in, you need to be sticking to that calorie deficit for weeks on ends, going into months, for you guys to see consistent results. So it's really important to actually know what target calories you need to be eating every single day, because without that, you would just be out in the wind, just randomly eating random foods, and one day you may eat over your calorie limit, one day you may eat under. So it's really important to know what your overall calorie intake should be on a day-to-day basis. Now, my third point, which is kind of crazy to me that I even have to mention this, but I know a lot of people online follow this program called If It Fits Your Macros. That is actually one of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I'd never understood that concept. Even when I was first starting my fitness journey and I was really, really big and fat, the overall concept of if it fits my macros, that doesn't like that never really resonated with me or made sense to me at all, because that just, to me, it would just open a can of worms and like open that gate to just eating a whole bunch of bullshit. So all that means, if you guys didn't know, if it fits your macros means that, let's say your overall calorie limit to be in a deficit is 2,300 calories. So technically you could eat 2,300 calories worth of Pop Tarts or 2,300 calories worth of Doritos or anything sugary or anything unhealthy. You could eat those as long as you're in a calorie deficit and still lose weight. So technically, I'm not too science savvy, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, you still could be in a deficit. But I just know eating all those junk foods, even if you're in a deficit, your overall body physique and what you would look like at the end of the day will not be what you're really going to be impressed with. So I just know if you have no solid foods, no solid foundation as far as whole foods, good protein source, some carb sources, some fats, having that in your diet on a day-to-day basis will ultimately set you up for failure. And you will ultimately never look like what you want to look like if you just keep eating a whole bunch of random foods and just following the principle of if it fits your macros. That to me doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I hope none of you guys are following that trend, because I know for me, when I first started my fitness journey, that was kind of advertised to me online especially, and luckily for me, I had common sense, so I never fell into that BS trap. But if any of you guys are following that if it fits your macros, where you can just eat a couple junk food snacks here or there as long as it fits your calorie goals, that is not going to set you up for success in the long run. So please, 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 please try to stay away from that. Even if it's like, eating a bag of chips here or there and still eating good throughout the day. No, you want to just eliminate that completely, because that, instead of eating that bag of chips, eat some protein chips or just eat something completely different that's healthier. But just like adding some random junk food just because if it fits your macros, that to me ultimately is going to set you up for failure. So that's another reason why I realized a lot of people are not losing the body fat, is because they don't really understand the process of tracking the food and eating the right foods is really important. And yeah, also I want to quickly mention, on top of that, doing fasting diets like intermittent fasting is not also recommended either. I tried fasting. For me, that's what I thought was going to work for me. And yeah, it worked a little bit because I was able to lose weight here or there. But ultimately, I realized that was not sustainable. So you have to do something that's actually sustainable. And so fasting and doing all these like crazy diets, that's something that you're not used to doing, your body's not used to doing, doing something completely different than what your body is used to is not going to be sustainable. So it's really important to do gradual increments of like changes to your body so it can be so your body can fully like process the changes. So it's really important to not follow all these crazy diets. If it fits your macros, fasting diets, water fasting diets, that to me is the complete BS and just something that I just hope and pray none of you guys are doing, because if you're doing that, change that immediately, because that shit is not going to help you out long term. I'm telling you this right now. All right, now the fourth point to me, guys, this kind of hits home for me because this for me, I can't lie to you, kept me stagnant for 3 months, at least 3 months was, and that's binging on the weekends. Or let's not even say binging, let's just say eating loosely and or like not tracking on the weekends. So that for me, guys, this point I know for a fact is hitting home with some of you guys, because this point alone was the ultimate reason for me why I wasn't able to lose weight over the long period of time. Like I would see progress and then I'll plateau at a certain weight and would not go down that way. For like 2-3 months, guys, I was stuck at like 250 pounds. And that was because I was binging on the weekends. And what I would do to cope was I would tell myself, hey, I locked in on Monday through Friday, just eating out on a Saturday and just maybe not eating so much on a Sunday, but still eating like BS on a Sunday. That shouldn't really alter my overall progress, right? But ultimately, that shit fucked me up completely throughout the week. So if you guys didn't know, if you just like eating 1,000 calories extra, let's say you're eating Monday through Friday, good, clean meals, you track your food every day, you hit your target meals every day, you hit your target goals every day. And then on a Saturday, you eat, let's say you eat like 1,000 calories extra than you're supposed to eat. And then Sunday, you maybe eat like 500 calories more than you're supposed to eat. So that was a 15 calorie increase in just those 2 days. And that 15 calories spread throughout the week could literally just have negated your complete week's worth of progress if you guys didn't know that. So it's really important to make sure you're tracking your food even on weekends and making sure you're meal prepping and planning to eat your meal preps that you're eating Monday through Fridays, to also eat those on Saturdays and Sundays. So it's really important, guys, especially starting out early on, to start off strong. And the best way to start off strong is to making sure you're locked in Monday through Sunday. So I know a lot of people use this weekend as the time to binge and eat. I would ultimately say if you really want to binge and eat, make it like once a month or once every two. Like honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. Once a month is all you need, as far as like I would say a cheat day or a cheat meal, where like you would probably eat something on a Saturday that you normally know you shouldn't be eating, but you want to eat it because you're just craving it so bad. So keep it to once a month, guys. I know that sounds crazy to you. Me right now, I don't like, even on weekends, I don't even eat anything crazy. I still eat the same foods that I would eat Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday. So you'll get to a point where you don't want to be eating all this junk food. But let's say starting out, a lot of people don't want to just cut out completely junk food and all that, which I understand because that was me at some point. Because for me on Saturdays, I would always eat like two to three slices of pizza, and then I would eat some crazy shit in the afternoon, and then I would just tell myself, if I eat like moderately, it'll be okay. But I wasn't tracking these foods, so ultimately, I wasn't tracking what I was eating on the weekend, and then I came to find out that I was overall eating in a calorie surplus on those 2 days. So making sure, guys, you need to make sure you're tracking your food on those weekends. Just simply tracking it. So I know people so I know some people don't even tend to track their food on the weekends. If you're tracking your food on the weekends, you'll know how quickly your calories are gonna start adding up, and then you'll be more conscious as to like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't be eating this. So just making sure you're tracking your food on weekends and just trying not to overeat on weekends is really important. Because if you are overeating on the weekends, you could be stagnating your growth and overall being in a plateau where you're never going to see your belly fat disappear. Now, my last point I want to make with you guys is just overall making sure you guys are doing some sort of activity level. So I know some people like a Fitbit watch or like some type of tracking watch, and maybe they're doing some like relatively active job at work, and they somehow accumulate 8,000 steps, 8 to 10K steps just from walking in their jobs, and thinking that's enough to overall lose weight. No, guys, you need to be doing at least an hour of intentional activity level. So either walking on the treadmill for an hour on top of your 8 to 10K steps at your job, or an hour of lifting, which is what I do now. For me, I don't even want to go too deep into what I currently do, but yeah, my current job is pretty active job. It's in construction, so I'm walking a lot in my job. So I'm easily getting like 6 to 8K steps per day while eating clean, obviously. But then I also do my workout after my 9 to 5 job. So it's really important, guys, to make sure you're actually doing an hour of intentional active activities like lifting weights or walking. Simply walking. If some of you guys completely disdain lifting weights and just want to just walk on a treadmill for an hour and eat clean, that'll get you a lot of results. That'll get you pretty far as far as seeing you lose that belly fat. But obviously, if you want to get more defined muscular abs, you want to add some weightlifting. But just simply walking on an incline, getting some steady state cardio in for an hour on a treadmill every single day, I would say at least 5 to 6 days a week if you want to do it that route, on top of eating clean. And then let's say you're doing an active job where you're getting some steps in, I'm telling you, that will set you up for success, guaranteed, to lose that belly fat. So it's really important to set aside at least an hour of intentional, active activities to do. At least, if you're gonna do just cardio and walk, at least 6 days a week. If you're gonna do lifting, you can do that 4 to 5 days a week. So please make sure you're getting intentional, active activities done throughout the day, because that's really important to lose that belly fat. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video, and see you guys in the next video.